Hello my small fat adaptive family and welcome back to the Keto Kitchen's Keto Guide. Today I'm going to show you how you can test your ketones at home. I've said it a few times now and I'll say it a few times more. You might be in ketosis, but if you don't test your ketones, you don't know. You can't 100% rely on signs and symptoms of ketosis to tell you you are in keto. There are different levels of keto and there are 3 ways to measure them that vary in accuracy, but I will take you through all of them today and show you how to do all of it from the comfort of your own home. So first, let's talk about the different levels of keto. Really quick note, different areas of the world work in different measurements, so it's like the Celsius Fahrenheit debate. Most people will measure in millimoles per litre, but some people will measure in milligram per deciliter. Everything I'm talking about today is millimoles per litre. If you want to know what it is, milligrams per deciliter, literally just go on Google and ask to do a change and you'll come across a calculator. So 0.5 to 1.5 millimoles per litre is nutritional ketosis. If you are above 0.5 in any ketone test that's reasonably accurate, you're in keto. If you're a type 1 diabetic, it is suggested you do not go above nutritional ketosis. So between 1.5 and 3 millimoles per litre is optimal ketosis. This is also commonly called deep ketosis, and this is where you tend to see the most weight loss. In reality, a lot of people won't get to this stage. It's a lot harder than you think it is. And you might get there, but not stay there. Don't be devastated if you struggle to get there or you can't maintain being there. I've, as I said about 100,000 times by now, I've been in keto for just over 4 years. And I've been in and out of optimal ketosis many times. In fact, I know right now I'm not in optimal ketosis because you have to be really quite strict to get there and stay there. So 3 to 6 millimoles per litre is therapeutic ketosis. And this is the zone where you will get the most benefits from keto, not just weight loss, the therapeutic side effects as well, obviously. This is where sort of people with epilepsy are suggested to be to get the best results. Then there's 6 millimoles to 14 millimoles per litre. This is called starvation ketosis. It is really unrealistic for you to get to this stage if you are not purposefully fasting. Actually, I'm going to put up a photo now of my mum's ketone results, blood ketones, from when she did a week-long fast. That's it, 7 days of not eating and only drinking water. And this is what her ketones were like. And you can see they're still pretty far away from going above 14 millimoles per litre, and that's 7 days not eating. Then there's above 10 millimoles per litre, and it is just so unlikely for you to get here if you are just having a standard keto diet. And even, to be honest, doing long fasts, you're so unlikely to get here. But if you're 10 millimoles per litre or above when you test your ketones, you need to book a doctor's appointment, especially if you're not fasting. Now the reason for this is if you don't have a history with diabetes, it's unlikely, but if you have had a history with diabetes especially, you might have ketoacidosis, which is life-threatening. So it's worth going and seeing your doctor. Even if you haven't had a history with diabetes, it's worth going and seeing your doctor just to check your pancreas is working. How do you test your ketones at home? I'm going to list them from least reliable to most reliable. I also suggest you do these tests just after lunch because unlike when you do like a fasting bloods, your ketones will actually get higher through the day. So you want to do it sort of just after lunch. I'm not saying you have to eat lunch, I'm just saying sort of midday, 1, 2, that sort of area is probably best to test your ketones. Firstly, there are urine strips. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're sticks that you wee on, and after about 15 seconds, the reactive bit of them changes into a colour depending on how much acetoacetate is in your wee. Acetoacetate being a byproduct of our body creating fatty acids. So these urine strips, these keto strips, are like the cheapest way for you to test your ketones. Actually, the ones I'm using today I bought for £3, which is about $3.89 for 50 from eBay. And you can get them pretty much anywhere. Amazon, eBay, local health store, literally wherever. However, they are the least reliable way to test your ketones. Don't get me wrong, when you're just starting ketosis, they're a pretty decent way to get an idea of whether you're in keto, but it's an estimate, it's an idea, it's not an accurate result at all, especially if you've been in keto for longer than a few months, really. When you've been in keto for a while, these keto strips will stop giving you an accurate result because your body gets really good at using ketone as its energy fuel, and your kidneys get really good at reabsorbing this acetoacetate, meaning they're not flushed out with your wee as much, which means obviously you're not going to have as many ketones show up in your wee. It's also not really a test that you can repeat and repeat and repeat again and get the same result, because there's so many variables, like the biggest example being how much you drink can completely dilute your wee. You drinking more liquid means more dilution in your wee, which means less ketones showing. Plus, you can't exactly wee 4 times in a row. So my conclusion on the keto strips is that when you first start keto, they're good as an indicator that you are in ketosis, but I think the moment they say that you are in keto, you should stop using them. Next up is breathalyzers. Now, I'm not expecting you to spend like £150 or $200 on one of these keto-specific breathalyzers. I've never tried one. I will probably never try one unless one of these companies wants to get in touch with me and sponsor me for an Is It Worth It video. Wink, wink, wink. I don't think I'll ever use one otherwise. It's just so much to spend when there are cheaper and better ways to test your ketones at home. In fact, I'd go so far as to say if you're somebody that doesn't have free healthcare like Americans, it would actually be cheaper for you to go and get blood tests done than to buy one of these breathalyzers and use them. However, thanks to the amazing keto community, we know there is a way to get a ketone measurement, a good ketone measurement, using a cheap breathalyzer. I honestly only found out about this in the last few months through a YouTuber and blogger called Fat for Weight Loss. You can use a semi-conductive breathalyzer like this one here. It's important that it is a semi-conductive breathalyzer, as a semi-conductive breathalyzer cannot tell the difference between alcohol and acetone on your breath. And as I said in my signs and symptoms video, acetone is the ketone we breathe out. And before you worry about being pulled over by the police and being done for, DUIs when you haven't actually drunk anything, they will use a full conductive breathalyzer that is expensive, that can tell the difference. So don't worry about doing keto and being pulled over for drinking when you haven't drunk. So this cost me about £6 or like $8. I got it from eBay, but I've seen it on Amazon, I've seen it on websites like Wish, I've seen it like honestly everywhere. All you need to pay for on top of it is 3 AA batteries, and I don't think you'll be getting through them very quickly because you're not going to be using this consistently. You literally turn it on, you wait, and then you breathe into it. That's honestly it. I will do a test in a bit to really show you how to get good results on it, but I'll be doing a test on all 3 ketones sort of around about the same time so you can see how much the results vary. The breathalyzer may not be like bang on, but it is a pretty accurate result. It's far more accurate than the ketone strips. The thing I've noticed with the breathalyzer is that you want to do a few tests and get the sort of average between them, and it's not going to cost you anything to do more tests, just how much it costs battery wise, and that's going to be minimal numbers. My conclusion on the breathalyzer is that no matter whether you're new to keto or you've been doing keto for a long time, it's really good to check for mild to moderate levels of keto. It's cheap, it's small, it's literally about the size of my palm. So you could literally take it in your bag with you, like anywhere. So let's say you go away for the weekend on holiday and you're worried you've been knocked out of ketosis, you can literally do a quick breathalyzer test. I just would say don't treat the breathalyzer like some people treat scales and be using it 24/7. It doesn't change anything doing it 100 times in a day, and it doesn't do any good for your morale. So lastly is blood testing. You've very likely seen a diabetic use a machine with a needle to test their blood sugars. Well, you can actually get these machines and sticks to test your ketones as well. These machines will calculate how much BHB is in your blood. And BHB is the most important ketone. It's the ketone that gives us energy. The actual machine itself isn't massively expensive. It ranges from like 10 to 20 pounds, which is like $13 to $26. That's not expensive because it can literally be used for years without damage. And you can, again, buy it like loads of places online, no matter where you live in the world. It's expensive because of these sticks that go into the machine. And a lot of these machines are brand specific, so you have to use specific strips, not generic cheap ones. I'm using the CareSense Dual, which means it measures the blood sugar or the ketones on the same device. The glucose sticks cost like 30p or 50 cents, but the ketone sticks, they cost £1 or $1.30 per stick. I've seen the best rated machines that have ketone sticks like these that cost $5 per stick. And that means that every time I want to test my ketones with this machine, it is costing me £1 to do so, or $1.30. And sometimes, through no fault of my own, the strip will fail whilst it's in the machine, and I literally have to bin it. So I'm throwing away money trying to test my ketones. It's ridiculous for anyone's wallet. They're so expensive. Now, don't get me wrong, blood testing is the best way to test your ketones and get an accurate result, but it is in no means the best priced. So my conclusion on blood testing for ketones is if you want to push for deep keto and you're wanting to measure those ketones, you'll want to use a blood monitor. Or if you are wanting to see the most accurate result you can, you'll want to use a blood monitor because it pushes away little things that could vary the result, like how much you drink or how much food you've eaten, all these little things that can really vary the result. It knows not to pick them up. However, they are expensive strips, and if you're like me and you hate seeing yourself bleed or making yourself bleed, it's gonna be a pain every time you want to do this. So with that being said, let's do all three tests sort of in the same time period right now, right in front of you. It is 1:02 p.m. for me, so it's a good time to do it, and we'll see what each one gives me in terms of results. So I'm just going to go and have a wee so I can test my urine ketones. It feels like I'm doing the walk of shame and I don't know why. So I'm expecting my ketones to be sort of just over 1 at the moment, I guess. I'm not expecting it to be deep. I'm not even expecting 1.5 optimal keto, if I'm honest. I eat too much, and with bad insomnia comes boredom, and with boredom comes eating at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not fasting either. I'm not doing any intermittent fasting. So basically what I'm going to do is I've got a little pot of my wee here, and I'm going to take one of these sticks with that bit of sponge on the end, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it in my wee. You can also wee on it, but I wasn't going to record that, was I? And then I'm going to count to 15. 1, 2. And then we're going to look at that. In fact, I will turn the camera around for this. And we look at that. And then we hold up our stick and we see what it matches. And it looks like it's matching small, which is better than I thought it would be, actually, if I'm honest. Being in keto for 4 years, I was expecting it to come up with a trace. But that shows me immediately that I'm in keto, which is nice. So we've come up with 1.5, and you can see it's not accurate because it didn't say like 1.1 or 0.7. It's literally 0.5 or 1.5. It's got no variation really, so we're going to put that down that I have got 1.5. So now we're going to do a breathalyzer test, which is in my pocket. Big important thing with this: take that off. Leave it like that, take that off. You'll see why in a minute. It's important to take the back off before you use it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, and basically what it does is it starts counting down from 100 pretty fast. And what you want to do is just gently be talking or breathing out a little bit, because you want to be right on the end of your breath. So I'm just going to be talking rubbish until this gets to 0, and I can't see when it gets to 0, so you're just going to have to excuse me talking crap. This is a pretty accurate result. Not hugely accurate. I'm going to do 3 tests and take the average out of the 3. .14, and that is why you want to have the back off, so that you can literally, oh god, so you can literally do that. So I'm going to do that another 2 times, just speed through it, tell you what my average is between them, and write that down. 1.17 twice, so let's go with 1.16. So as you can see as well, it beeps. That's showing you are in keto. So lastly is a blood test. I hate doing this. I have done this so many times over the last 4 years, and I still absolutely cannot stand doing it. So I'm just gonna turn the machine on. I'm gonna pop the stick. I'm gonna pop the stick in the machine, and it's telling me it's testing my ketones. So I'm gonna pop that down, and I've prepped the pen already. So you literally, come on, man, come on. You give it a pop. You squeeze out the blood. That does not look like it's gonna. Oh my god, that wasn't enough blood. No, okay. Make sure my hands are nice and warm. Okay. You pop the finger. You squeeze out the blood. You take the machine and you literally wait until it sucks in your blood. And it counts down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My bloods are showing 1.3 millimoles per litre for my keto level. So my guess at just over 1, maybe 1.2 isn't bad. So let's write that down. And that's it. I've just done a keto test with the 3 ways you can test your ketones. So let me just clear everything up, and I will come back to you to talk about the results. Looking across all of the tests, I show that I'm in ketosis for all of them. The ketone strips put me actually in nutritional ketosis. They put me the highest at sort of 1.5. The breathalyzer put me the lowest at 1.17, and the blood machine put me at 1.3, in between all of them. Now, I'm quite surprised that the ketone strips, the wee sticks, that actually gave me a result. I was expecting to either have trace or negative. I'm not sure why that is, but as I said, it's so unreliable for having a controlled sort of experiment. There's too many variables. And the fact that it usually comes up as negative or trace, and now it's coming up with ketones, it's just not reliable. But these two, 1.17 and 1.3, this is actually showing slightly lower, the breathalyzer, but it wasn't far off. 1.17, 1.3, out of the 3 of them, unless you're striving for like deep ketosis, I really suggest the breathalyzer. Yeah, it's not bang on, obviously, because my blood showed slightly different, but it gives you a really good idea. It was only 1.3 out. And the breathalyzer is a great way to know in like 30 seconds without spending £1 every time you want to use it, having to prick your finger twice if you want to use it, having to wee on a stick. It's literally just a case of turning it on, waiting and breathing. And you can do that 5 times in a row if you want and take the average. It's not costing you anything. You don't have to wait until you can wee. You're just using your breath. So with all of that being said, test your ketones how you want to test them. Use up here and use the knowledge I've just provided. That's all for this time, guys. Like this video if you found it insightful, interesting or helpful. Subscribe if you're inclined, and if you want to know when I'm putting a video up, if you hit that bell button by subscribe, it will send you a notification. Leave me any comments, any questions, any queries down below. Keep calm, keto on. Thanks for watching.